Hi, welcome back. So today I'm going to be making savoury scones or scones, whatever you want to call them. I flip between both. So this is a great scone recipe that I've developed a while back when I was working in Ashbourne Hill in Leamington Spa. It's a great recipe. I have tweaked it a little bit just to get as much flavour as I can out of the scone and the cheese. But also I have added cheddar in there and English mustard just in case you guys at home haven't got the ingredients you need, but are easy to get hold of. You can use Dijon mustard as well if you want, but I'm using whole grain for this one. So this recipe is up on the on my website at the moment, and also if you just DM me either on Facebook or Instagram, you'll well, I can then send you it. Instagram, it's yummy_DC, and then just look for my name, Daryl Collins, on Facebook if you wish. So before I start, I just like to say, you know, I've got a lot to thank for Camborne College as well, and John Waterhouse, who sort of guided me on my sort of day release at Camborne College many moons ago, and gave me a lot of good advice on sort of being focused, concentrating on what you're doing, and you know, almost sort of took me under his wing while I was there. But we also, you know, we also went through the whole of this sort of well, not all of it, but most of it, practical cookery in the 3 years that I was kind of in and out of college. Yeah, day release, it's good. College is good because it does teach you the basics, which you know, as a chef, it's quite important to learn those basics. But there's nothing like being in a real kitchen and learning full on from some great chefs. But yeah, so this recipe I've developed myself. There is a good scone recipe in there, which if you want the base scone recipe, I would say that's one of the best in there, because it tells you it's plain and simple, and you will always get a good sort of rise from it. This one's been, you know, developed over the years, but it is a fantastic recipe. Again, I haven't got all the equipment. I managed to get some cutters, which I'm going to use, and also I have somebody up in Scotland who's going to send me some fresh ones. Hopefully we'll arrive tomorrow, so I can do the donut recipe tomorrow or Saturday, because I think Lucas wants to join me in doing that one. So thanks, Sharon. Right, so without further ado, I shall crack on. Okay, let's start. So in here I have all my dry ingredients, and I'm going to use the paddle attachment. If you are doing this by hand, obviously you would put your butter in and you would crumb it until it was a nice and fine crumb. Again, when you're crumbing or rubbing, you don't want to be pushing your hands together like this, because that will just make a dough at the end of the day, and it will saturate your flour. And what you don't want to do is you want to coat those little molecules or those little grains of flour in the butter, not push the butter into those. So the idea is to coat each individual one with the butter, and work with your butter extremely cold. So keep it in the fridge until you need it, like I have done. Nice, it's in a nice cold bowl. It's kept nice and cold. So I'm going to add this to my flour, and I've diced it as well. So obviously don't put it in one big chunk, because it's just going to wreck it and not work. Whoop, wrong one. Okay, so that's going in. Let me just move that out of the way. And on a really slow speed, if you haven't got a guard, again, I just do this until I've started. So I know it's not going to blow out everywhere like that. And what we're trying to obtain is a nice fine crumb before we add any liquid and cheese. So that should be alright for the meantime. So a nice slow speed, so I'm not overworking it. It will take a little bit to get together and crumb up. So as soon as you get to that fine crumb, this is where we stop it. So I shall see you in a minute or two. Right, we're at the stage where it's become a nice fine crumb. All the butter is coated nicely. So I'll stop that now, and we'll add the rest of the ingredients. So here I'll put in my milk, my cheese, and my whole grain mustard I've got there. But again, like I said, if you want to use any other mustard, that's totally up to you. But I like the whole grain the mostest. And also with my cheese, because it says Parmesan, but I've got a mixture of both. I've got Parmesan and cheddar in there because I absolutely love cheese. And you know, I just want to maximise those scone flavour and the cheese flavour as much as I can. Look at me, sorry, fingering my food. Right, so I'll put that in. I'll put the cheese in first, then I'll put my mustard in, and lastly I'll put my milk in. Again, with this, I'm not going to use all the milk just yet until I can see what's happening. Again, you don't want it to be too wet, your scone mix, but I will add it now. Half of it's gone down the... Okay, so you can see it's just sort of coming together. I'm going to mix it until the bottom bit is dry. Okay, I'm going to stop there. So you see it doesn't take much. And then we're going to get it out, and then I'm just going to finish that little dry bit at the base by hand. Okay, right, on to the next part. So I've brought my sort of dough together. Try not to sort of, you know, really knead it. You just want to sort of push it together, make sure it's nice and together. So I've lightly floured my surface. I'm just going to roll this out now. It's, you know, it's a slightly crumbly texture, but remember you've got the cheese in there. That's going to kind of bind it all together. So although this is a fairly dry mix, you've still got your fats in there to help. Okay, so we're nearly there. About there, I'd say. Around ½ inch thickness. Okay. So a cutter, you can use any cutter size. These are a bit old. But I will make do. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, and then you just cut straight down. I always leave, what I do is always leave a little gap here just to let the air out so you're not pushing, because sometimes you get a bit of resistance. Okay, and you can just then pop them out onto your tray. Okay. I do absolutely love scones. I'm sure these will get divvied out to the people that love them as well. Yeah, I'll be back with you in 1 minute. Right, so I've got everything cut out. I had some surplus. You can make to about 18 to 20 scones out of this. So obviously, because I've only got one tray, I'm going to just stop there and then wait till they're cooked, and I shall put some more in. I also haven't got a pastry brush, pastry chef with a pastry brush, so I'm going to use my finger. I've washed my hands, they're extremely clean. Excuse my fingers, but yeah, it must be done. So you just go over the top of the scone or scone. See, I like to flip between the both. Brush them nicely. I'm a bit funny like this. I try not to get any liquid to go down the side of my scone, because that's me, the perfectionist in me. But yeah, you can be as messy as you like. I've also got a bit of cheese again, mixture, so I can coat the top. So obviously on the recipe it's not on there, but it's totally up to you whether you put cheese on top. But again, if you like me and you like a bit of cheese, extra cheese is good. So these are starting to rise slightly as I'm stood here at the moment, and that's simply because of the baking powder in there as well. And once you add a bit of liquid to the baking powder, it's obviously going to start reacting, which is fine. We don't mind that. But yeah, I can taste them already. Okay, so at this point you can put them straight into the oven and you'll get a nice coating, browning on the top. That's the idea for the wash. Okay, let me just wipe my hands again. So now I have my cheese mixture, which is half cheddar, half Parmesan, just for that extra cheese, and I'm going to sprinkle that on each one, like so. Okay, don't be shy, but if you haven't got much cheese, then obviously be shy. This is my cheese surplus. I've got a little bit of cheese left for me sandwiches and me beans on toast and me jacket potato and whatever I want to cook later on. So it's looking good. Oh, I've got to be careful that I've got enough for each scone or scone. It depends which part of the country you're from, whether you pronounce it scone or scone. I think northerners it's a scone, southerners it's a scone. But I've been all over the country, so I get a bit confused. There you go. So they're all nicely topped. I've got my oven set at 180. I'm going to put them in now for about 15 to 18 minutes, and I shall check them. Again, depending on your oven, and if it's efficient, it will do the job. If it's not too efficient, I'll put it on to 18 anyway. So I will check them at 15, and I shall see you then. Right, so I've left them in for 18 minutes. And they're looking pretty good. So just like a normal scone or scone, they rise nicely, and they will have that nice crack in the middle, as a traditional scone would, as you can see. They're looking pretty nice. So what I do is I'm going to remove them from here, just put them on my cooling rack, obviously, because if you leave them on there they might sweat and you'll end up with a soggy bottom, and as we all know, no one likes a soggy bottom. Okay, so there you go guys. Oh, look at those crispy cheesy bits. There you go. It's a fairly quick and simple recipe. I'll open one out, and as you can see, oh wow, that is pretty nice. Look at that, a nice crispy on top. I'm going to wait till they cool down before I add a noggin of butter, or a knob of butter. I like to use the word knob. Pardon my language. But yeah, they've turned out really well. So, I'd like to say thank you again for following me and watching this video, and I hope the recipe is as good for you as it is for me. But I'm sure it'll work, because it's, sorts itself out in the end, and you get a great product, and they are bloody tasty. So yeah, again, try and keep everything clean, wash your hands, especially before eating as well, not just during cooking. So if you're going to put hand to mouth, very important that you wash your hands first. Also, try and keep your mind active in this isolation period. Stay in as much as possible. Your mind is everything, you know. Without it being strong, it can affect your well-being a lot, and it's very difficult in these times. So keep yourself busy, keep yourself active. Cook, read a book, draw, play games, you know, whatever you need to do to keep busy. But again, look after yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video. I think the next video is going to be cinnamon donuts. I like cinnamon donuts, but we're going to do it. We're going to attempt to do it vegan cinnamon donuts. But you know, that's that classic thing. Do you class yeast as a living organism? Are you allowed to eat yeast as a vegan? Because it is a living organism. Anyway, enough of that. I shall see you next time.